Hi, welcome to the Arizona Western College Small Business Development Center. And today we're going to have some easy tips for getting a business plan done. First of all, why do you need a business plan? Most people will need it because their bank is going to require it if they're asking for financing. Financing for a business is obviously different than personal financing. You're not buying a house, you're buying assets, or you're starting up a company, which is a lot harder to repossess if something goes wrong. Okay, so is financing your main objective? For those of you who have had businesses or are in business, a lot of times a business plan is the best way to make management decisions on that business. In other words, you should be working on the business instead of just in the business. So there's going to be a lot of questions all the time on when do you hire somebody else, and is your rent getting too high? Is it time to look for a different place or a bigger place? Or, do we need to put more into marketing? How is it going to show up on the bottom line? Is it worth doing? And our philosophy here at the SBDC has always been, let's work it all out on paper before we start spending any actual money. Okay. Simple, easy steps. The business plan is really divided into two main parts, with a bunch of attachments that you'll probably need at the end, okay? The first part is the financial projections, or pro forma. This is kind of what we call crystal ball time. How can you increase or create revenue and maintain it at what sort of operational expense level? In other words, how much does it cost to support that level of revenue coming in, and are you going to make any money at it? For most of us, that kind of correlates to the income statement. Also, part of the financial projections is how much are we investing into this business, okay? Whether it's borrowed or our already existing personal assets, and then how are we allocating those dollars in the business? So for example, if you start with $10, is $5 going to be in equipment, and $2 going to be in marketing, and 50 cents into licensing and permits, or add as many zeros as you need to. It's really not that hard. It's just coming up with something that you can remember where all the numbers came from and justifying it when you're standing in front of that lender asking for a loan. Okay. We also look normally at a cash flow. Cash flow kind of scares a lot of people, but it's really not that easy. Not that easy to mess up. Let me correct myself there. Cash flow basically shows that if you have so much money coming in and so much going out, and you started with so much, are you going to have money left to pay your checks, your obligations? Okay. One of the old sayings in business is when you're out of money, you're out of business. So if you start bouncing checks, that's not a good sign. Chances are you won't be around very much longer. So the cash flow is something we look at as far as in our marketplace here, we're very seasonal. Do we have enough money to last through the summertime? So if you're already in business, and it's February, March, April, are you able to save enough to make it through June, July, August, and into September before the season starts up again? Okay. Once we have all the numbers down, and we usually project these out for 3 to 5 years, okay, now you can make a decision. Does this look like a good business idea? Are the numbers we put in, do they make sense to us? Is it something we'll be able to live with? I've worked with a lot of people, and one of the toughest decisions is, gee, this is your dream, and you have all this research, and you've done all the work, and you put it all in the numbers, and it shows you're not going to make any money. Is that something you still want to do? Other places, it looks almost too good to be true. Hey, we're going to make $1 million the first year, and we'll do it on a shoestring, and it's going to be super easy. Well, what have we forgotten? what surprises are out there. And that's where our counseling services help you to kind of review what you've put down and how it's going to work. Okay. Anyhow, the numbers are the most important part. We like to tackle those first because that's usually where the lending decision is made, or if you're already in business, how you can adjust things to either meet or exceed your goals. Okay. The second main part of a business plan is the narrative. This is where you explain all those numbers in written form. Okay. They'll want to know certain things like your structure. Are you a LLC, a corporation, a sole proprietor, a partnership? What ownership percents do you have? Where you're going to be located? What's going on in your local marketplace? The competition. How many competitors are out there? If they're all going out of business, why? What are you solving that's going to make you better than them? And what happens when they decide, hey, you're taking enough of our business away, we need to fight back? How are you going to sustain your company when the results start hitting them? Okay, it's not hard to write. It's just you have to think about possible outcomes. One outcome now that's going to be in all the business plans is our pandemic strategy, or what happens if something goes wrong. It's always been there, but this pandemic with coronavirus has really brought it up to the forefront. So, if all of a sudden the state or the city shuts down our restaurant for the next 6 months, how are we going to survive? So again, those are the main parts. We help review both of those. But remember, the important part to a business plan is that you're actually doing the research and putting it together, because you get to be the one standing in front of the lender, not me. Okay. I can't stand there and say, hey, this is the greatest business plan since the machine that sliced bread. Okay, that it may be true, but the banker has to have confidence in you, not in me. Okay. So how do you start writing the business plan? It frequently comes up. One of the best ways is to actually do some research. What you want to do is sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil. If you're buying a business, what exactly are you buying? Okay. Are there vehicles? How old are they? What's the resale value? Is it property? Do you need to buy inventory? Do you need to develop a website? And, websites can go anywhere from free up to millions of dollars. So what is your budget? How much do we have to raise to launch this business? And believe me, I've worked with all different levels of businesses. So the research is really the important place to start. And I kind of divided it into a couple of different areas. First is that, what exactly do we need to start? Do you need a business license? Do you need to form a LLC or a corporation? Do you need to buy inventory? We'll talk about operating expenses and working capital in a minute. But there may be land, there may be buildings, there may be patent permission to use that patent. There may be a lot of different things that are unique to you. And if you're buying somebody else out, you're going to need to satisfy that debt before you take ownership. And then the banks will definitely want to see exactly what it is you're purchasing. So research. Let's get down exactly what it's going to cost to start. And we'll look at your finances after that. Where is the money going to come from? If you can write a check, or grandma writes a check for you, that's fine. Did you need the business plan? I think so. But if you don't need the bank, that satisfies a lot of where's the money coming from. Unfortunately, most of us don't have that golden egg or grandmother with a checkbook burning a hole in her pocketbook. So we're going to have to go to other sources of financing for this. So a good example is if we need 100,000, how much are you putting in? Okay. The bankers call this skin in the game. If you are able to put in 50%, there's a chance you can get the financing without too many problems because the bankers will watch you. Are you doing what you projected? Is it a good business idea? Is it working? If you're overspending and needing more money, all of a sudden, once you start losing some of that 50% you're putting in, they may call the note, cash out all their money that they can, and leave you with nothing. Okay? It's very seldom you want to go back and ask the banker for more money after you started. This would be a unique situation like Facebook, launching a Google type of business that actually captured millions and millions of followers and traction and everything else, and you needed to invest in more infrastructure. For most of us, that's probably not going to happen. But again, exactly how much do you need? Where is it going to? And then explaining this in the narrative. I need to raise $50,000. I'm prepared to put $50,000 of my own money in. Just an example. Okay. Once you get that done, we start going into some more of the evaluations. Okay, what is the actual marketplace like? Is there room for another business like yours in this area? Or is it going to be an internet business? And the old days used to be, well, there's 6 billion people in the world, and if I get 1/2 of 1/10 of 1%, I'll have 500 million people buying stuff from me every day. Whatever the numbers work out to. That's not necessarily proof anymore for a lender. That's just stuff somebody got out of a 1980s business plan book. So it's not so much the numbers, the gross numbers, and a percentage of that, but have you done any beta testing? Have you sampled your goods? Have you tested the market? Have you asked people? Have you done your observations? Are there lines at the restaurants? And for what? Right now, is it all takeout food? Is it all family packs and dinners? Their capacity in the restaurant is a lot smaller than it used to be. Excuse me. So really, you have to justify your ideas in writing that explain the numbers from the financial projections. Okay. So again, remember, garbage in, garbage out. If you say, oh yeah, my insurance is only going to cost me $50 a month, and you have 3 vehicles and 10 employees and workers' comp and all the other sorts of insurance things that come up, not to mention identity theft or liability, all the other things that we always worry about, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And so you have to do good research. You have to get quotes. Keep a copy of those quotes. Those will go in the attachments later on. It just shows that you've done your homework and you have proof that you've done your homework. Okay. So again, as we talk about attachments, they're going to want to know about your credit score. These days, probably 720 and up is considered an excellent credit score. You can't go down much lower. Okay, if you get down in the mid 600s, you're going to find a lot of banks in this business climate that feel you're too risky. They only want to fund legitimate, good business prospects. Okay, even the SBA may go down into the lower 600s, 620, 630 range. But when you get down below that, it's going to be very difficult, and we'll have to look for alternative funders, not necessarily the conservative lending at a bank that they would have. So again, putting the business plan together is great. If you're already in business, you can look at the numbers, you compare them to last year, to what you projected, and this is always a good way to make decisions for growing in the future. Okay, how are you running compared to the industry? We call those benchmarks. Are you collecting money quick enough? Are your sales high enough? Are you supporting yourself the way that you anticipated. And if not, we rewrite the business plan to show actual and look for areas where we should be doing better that we aren't. So again, this is a quick tutorial on how to write a business plan. At the Small Business Development Center, we're able to help you with every step from the feasibility of the idea to the financial projections, to writing the narrative, to putting all the attachments together, all the packaging, and you get to then go to the lender of your choice and ask for the money. We've been very successful over the years. We've helped a lot of people get their financing at any stage, for startups, for companies that are growing and need more capital, all the way up to people who are ready to cash in and retire, and maybe even having them refer somebody to another counselor to help them get the financing needed to buy out our client. So again, you get to tell a story, and that's the important part. Yes, you can pay some internet company $500, $5,000, at least $10, $30, $50,000 to write you a business plan. In this area, not a lot of people have that kind of money to spread around for writing a business plan on a hope or a dream. We again recommend that you write it yourself. We'll hold your hands the whole way through, and you'll be much more in tune with what you want to do and how you want to do it. Okay, that's the end. If you need to contact us, it's the AWC SBDC. You can reach me at randy.nelson@azwestern.edu or call our office for a no-cost confidential appointment to review your progress. And again, it's the counseling sessions are always at no cost. So you can come in once, or you can come in 20 times, however long it takes, as long as we're making progress. So give us a call. We'll be happy to help you walk through writing your business plan. And even if it's your 50th business plan and not your first, it sure doesn't hurt to have a professional help review it with you and look for areas where it can be improved. Thank you so much.